in Carter County, just west of Ardmore. Very intense storm. Some potential for this to produce a tornado. The only tornadic storm we currently have, though, is indicated in Pontotoc County, and Tom Hale has some more information for us.
Steve, right now they're looking at the funnel cloud. It is a little bit larger now, and it is just to the south of the Pontotoc Technical Center. That's the Pontotoc Technical Center, which is on the southwest side of town in Pontotoc. They had a report just a couple minutes ago of a brief dusting. In other words, the funnel cloud touched down, and it's described as a nub funnel cloud. In either case, though, if you're in Pontotoc and you're in downtown, this is going to be moving in your direction. It's just on the south side of town, where it splits off on highway. I believe that would be East 32nd Street, and so it is. As I said, this tornado is brief, touching down, coming back up, but right down there. And right where it says East 32nd Street, right there, that's actually where the Pontotoc Technical Center is, and it's moving off to the northeast. So if you are on the northeast side of Ada, near Homer, that would be the direction that this is starting to move in. And again, it's not moving fast. We're talking 15 miles an hour. Steve?
Thank you, Tom. We have an update on another very intense thunderstorm we're watching. That is in Carter County. We have a severe thunderstorm warning reissued till that's going to be until 7:45 p.m. for 2-inch diameter hail. That's hen egg size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This storm merits our attention as well. I'm going to get off the Pontotoc storm just for a second, folks. Again, southern Ada, funnel cloud spotted, possible tornado developing there. This is a very nasty storm, though, in Carter County as well. Folks in Springer need to be aware of the potential for damaging winds to 60 miles per hour, large hail. It looks like that storm is missing Ardmore, but we have another very strong storm to the southwest of Ardmore. Look at this guy. This is a really intense storm southwest of Marietta. May also contain some large hail and damaging wind, and we're watching all these storms with great concern for large hail. Here we see hail to golf ball size indicated by Doppler radar, and very likely to be the case in this storm southwest of Ardmore and Marietta. And of course, again, a tornado warning in effect for the storm just over the southern part of the city of Ada. Meteorologist Tom Hale here with me says that it's located near the Pontotoc Technology Center. Is that correct, Tom?
Yes, that is correct. That is on the pretty much due south by 1 mile of Pontotoc or Ada, and it's moving off to the north and east. We've had a report from, it appears to be a public report of hail that is now over golf ball size also with this. So there's a good deal of hail associated with this, and at the same time, we do have a funnel that has been touching down at least twice. And it is now moving off to the north and the east, probably coming up underneath East 18th Street and moving off to, again, the north and the east. So it will probably not go into the heart of downtown Ada, but it will just skirt the southern side of the town. Okay, Tom, I'm going to do a quick storm track on this. We're tracking the dangerous core of this storm as it moves northeast pretty slowly. So we're looking at downstream destinations that take a while to get there, as you can see on the map. Now, just got a report from the National Weather Service at 7:09 p.m., so about 4 minutes ago, that the funnel cloud over south side of Ada has gotten a little bit larger, but it's still not in contact with the ground. It is aloft, but very dangerous. We're getting large hail, possibly a little bigger than golf balls, falling out of the updraft associated with that tornadic storm. It is a tornadic storm. A tornado warning is in effect for Pontotoc County, and we urge folks in the path of this storm to take cover. Treat it like a tornado on the ground. We're getting closer to sunset here. It's going to be very hard to see these things in about another half hour, and you should always treat any tornado warning as genuine, because even without a tornado, we can get really strong straight line winds, destructive hail, damaging lightning. It's just a really dangerous storm, and it looks like now it's moving east side of Ada, tracking up right up Highway 1, it looks like, heading toward Allen at this time. Again, this is a tornado warning based on a funnel cloud that was spotted just up till about 3 minutes ago near the Pontotoc Technology Center. Here's a close-up on this storm, and you can see the core of the storm appears to be shifting a little more to the east. We're going to look in this with our velocity scale, see what we can find in there. And we don't see a clear-cut rotation signature. Okay, we're getting an update that the Pontotoc Emergency Manager says this is now over East Ada. It's tracking northeast, so that's consistent with what the Weather Service has been telling us, and now it would be moving in the general direction of Homer. So it looks like the maximum danger has shifted from here
over into the east side of Ada. You can see a notch right here in the structure of the storm. The storm is tilted, of course, so the tornado could be located over here somewhere just to the southeast and eastern sector of the city of Ada. And this, again, folks, is a dangerous storm. We urge you to treat it as a tornado on the ground. We haven't had any confirmation of that yet, but any minute this thing could produce a tornado that would produce damage. Even without a tornado, we see indications of large hail. In fact, we've had reports of large hail over golf ball size. Right here, you can see this notch in the storm. We're not getting a conclusive velocity signature on it as we would with a larger tornado, so this would be a fairly small tornado if it does touch down. Still, could produce winds to 90 to 100 miles per hour if it touches down. Right in here, we see the velocity couplet. It's not real compelling like we would see in a larger storm, thank God. But again, a tornado warning for this storm in Pontotoc County. Now we're going to move out a little bit and cover this storm in Carter County. It's a mean one too. And here's the big view. In Carter County, you're under severe thunderstorm warning for really two very intense thunderstorms coming through the county. We have storm number 1 in the northern part of the county and just a tremendous amount of lightning in this thunderstorm. It's a very dangerous storm. Starting to see a notch forming here north of Ardmore. This storm is trying to develop its circulation of itself. So this has some potential to become tornadic. Looking on the velocity scale, we don't see much there, but it bears our watching as it tracks northeast at 45 miles per hour. Storm number 2, let's do a velocity scan on that. Again, not seeing much in there that concerns us as far as rotation, but this storm also could produce some really big hail as it heads toward Marietta. And again, a reminder that our folks in Pontotoc County, there's a funnel cloud on the east side of Ada. We'll get right back to that in just a second. We've got several storms that deserve our coverage, folks, and this storm may produce some hen egg to golf ball hail. It's headed straight for Marietta. So folks in Marietta need to prepare for a dangerous storm there that does not produce a tornado right now, but has some potential to produce one. Back over Ada, meteorologist Tom Hale here with me. Do we have anything new, Tom, on this storm?
Basically, one of the spotters on this storm, 5 miles east of Ada, is reporting that it is intermittent. In other words, it's still going up and down. It is a cone funnel. And so at this point, you might be tempted to go out and try and take a look at it since it is to the south of town. But I can't stress enough, this is the time that you need to go into your safe place in your home in Ada, especially if you're in Homer or maybe even Happyland further on up Route 1. But at this point, this is intermittent, and at this point, we know we've got a circulation, and so you need to be taking cover in your safe place for this tornado warning in the center section and north central part of Pontotoc County. Now, a report of a tornado on the ground east of Chickasaw Medical Center, and this report has just come in. It's off Highway 3 and South Road. I believe that's pronounced Ailhos, A-H-L-O-S-O-S. They are seeing power flashes along with it, and they're reporting some debris. Let me take a look at the debris scope real quick here. We do see a little bit of debris on this, on taking a look at the debris scope here, and that is now just a little further north between Homer and Happyland to the south of 1. And again, as for a circulation in this particular storm, it's not that pronounced, although remember, the radar is looking above that, and so to that end, the storm is about 3 miles east now and south of Route 1 in Pontotoc County. Along with this, I need to let you know, this is not the time to go out and move your car or do anything else either. You should be in your safe place, but there is also observed hail, easily almost 2 inches in size, associated with this storm. So it is not safe to be out. And so to that end...
Tom, forgive me, but I need to get a confirmation again on this tornado is on the ground in Pontotoc County. Is that correct? And
yes,
give me an exact location.
It has been on the ground at least twice. Right now, it looks to be a lone rope funnel and seems to be starting to, and that's a sign that it might be actually roping out. And the spotter on this is located 5 miles to the east of Ada, looking back to the west.
Okay, so that would be near Homer, which is where we show a velocity signature on this storm.
Exactly.
Right here where the red and the green are coming together. Looks like it's just south of Highway 1, and a small tornado is on the ground in that area. It's maybe small, but it's still very dangerous, folks. We continue with the tornado warning for Pontotoc County. The city of Ada proper now would be out of the woods on this. Okay, giving you a more specific location, it's County Road 1570 and 3610. Here you can see 3610 located right here, and at the intersection of those two roads, County Road 1570 and 3610. Let me get that recentered so you can find that intersection. It is a very small road. It may not be on our map, but it's located here just southeast of Ada proper and tracking northeast. Now, this storm is not moving very fast, about 15 to 20 miles per hour, and again, the danger zone is right in here. Coincidentally, no, it's definitely associated with this big reflectivity updraft you see here, this dark red area. That's where the maximum upward motion is, and that's where the tornado is located. Folks in Happyland, you're going to be in the path of this storm and should be in your place of safety, as well as Steedman. Again, it has now moved out of the city of Ada, and it's tracking northeast at about 15 miles per hour. So we're going to start where the tornado is currently located, give you a storm track here over the next little while, and Happyland ETA about 7:24 p.m. That puts it just on top of you almost now, and Steedman, that'll be about 20 minutes until it shows up in your neck of the woods. Folks, it's very important to stress on this that even without a tornado, we have damaging winds and large hail. Large hail has been confirmed. There is a tornado on the ground right now in this storm, and again, this is a very dangerous storm. You need to treat it with respect. Go into the middle of your structure, away from the windows, in the smallest room possible. If you're in a mobile home, evacuate that structure and head to a nearby permanent shelter, or even lay out on the ground in a low spot if you can. We had someone killed in a straight line wind event just a couple of years ago in Happyland in a mobile home. They were killed by straight line winds, so it's very, very dangerous. Please don't stay in a mobile home anytime there's a tornado warning, especially when we know for sure this storm is producing a tornado at this time, and that tornado is associated with a large updraft currently in this storm and rotation. Here's the core of the storm, again located just southwest of Happyland. Folks, it's a big one, tops to 47,000 feet, and that's consistent with what we expect when we have these tornadic storms. Tracking to the northeast, let's put it in motion. There it is, moving about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Folks in Allen, you're definitely in the danger zone on this storm. And again, big hail coming out of it, up to possibly a hen egg size hail with the storm currently located over Ada. Folks in Carter County, I want to remind you, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. And we're getting reports now that it's a rope tornado, which means that the threat is definite, but it's not a large tornado. We're looking at probably an EF0 on this, which is still capable of producing damage, folks, and still capable of flipping a mobile home. So especially for folks that are in mobile homes, evacuate those structures again as this storm tracks to the northeast toward Allen, Happyland over you right now, and Steedman and Pontotoc County. We do have other storms. Okay, we're going to punch up our close-in view on Doppler 12 Live, and you can really see, as meteorologist Tom Hale recenters that the tornadic circulation indicated by the hook there is just to the south of Happyland. That's along those county roads we told you about a minute ago, and heading off in that general direction to the northeast about 15 miles per hour. It's a slow. We have an update now that it's moving almost due east. Forgive me, folks, as stuff comes in, we have to give you the latest. 1570 and 3610, 5 minutes ago, there was debris indicated, a debris cloud with a rope tornado in contact with the ground. So this has again been confirmed. It's moving almost due east at this time. That would take it to the south of Allen. We know that we have large hail in the storm. We know we have damaging wind. There's also a couple storms here in Carter County that are very dangerous coming into Murray County. Another big storm indicated moving toward Marietta. We don't think these storms have tornadoes in them right now. So we're going to spend most of our time on the Pontotoc County storm, as it is the most life-threatening storm currently in Texoma, and tracking pretty slowly to the east-northeast. We're getting reports now that it may have become what we call a right mover and head a little more to the east than to the northeast. So in any case, everybody in the path of this storm needs to be alert and prepared to move into their place of safety. You should already be in your place of safety if you're located here. You look right there. You can see the notch. That's the rotation center. That's where the tornado is, and it is moving just about due east. Take a look at this, folks. Going to move in a little closer on this. You can see the velocity couplet very clearly here. I think that it's probably strengthened a little bit in the last scan, as we see the red and green right here. We can actually go in with our interpreter to see how fast it's spinning. Well, okay, there you have it, 72 miles per hour, and it's probably greater than that. This usually runs about 70 to 80% of actual, so this could be a 100-mile-per-hour tornado, which would cause serious damage or destroy a mobile home, could cause significant damage to a permanent building, take the roof off, could leave you in danger of flying debris and things like that. So again, this is not an EF5, but it is a tornado. It's a dangerous storm, producing damage right now. It produced a debris cloud, at least. If it were to hit an actual structure, it could do severe damage on it. We got new severe thunderstorm warnings coming out for Love and Marshall County. That's part of that complex of storms I just showed you off to the southwest. I'll quickly move back over there and show you that again. We want to spend the majority of our time on the most dangerous storm, which is Pontotoc. We've got a lot of stuff happening here, so we're going to scoot around on the map a little bit. Here it is. This is a big one, capable of producing large hail. Severe thunderstorm warning for Marshall and Love, 2-inch hail indicated by the National Weather Service on this one. Very dangerous storm. Here's your hail core. There's your hail core indicating hen egg size hail, which is 2 inches. And this storm is tracking, Tom Hale, which way do we have this storm moving for Carter and
it's moving to the northeast at 40 miles an hour, and it's 5 miles to the southwest of Marietta. And so 2-inch hail, huge hail, folks, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Again, this is not a storm you go outside to look at. This is a storm that you need to be taking cover in your house. And so it's a significant storm. And the reports here on the hail we have in Ada, by the way, now we have reports of baseball-sized hail, and it's reported near Highway 1 and County Road 3605. Now that's east of Ada, folks.
Get that in a little tighter, buddy, if you can. Let's go on the Doppler 12. Let's get it in a little bit tighter so we can get some towns on there.
Yep.
Yeah, folks, you see the hook there. Highway 1 and 3605, baseball hail. So this is confirmation that the updraft is strengthening. We hadn't had any hails that big reported. So the tornado, which has been confirmed, could also be getting a little bit larger. And again, we urge you, if you're in a mobile home, to evacuate those structures. Get away from your windows, center of the home, smallest room possible. It's a good idea to cover yourself with a pillow or a blanket. A bathtub's a great place to hide. And that's often, you hear about folks, that's the only room left in the house if a tornado comes through, is the bathroom. And that, again, not to be dramatic, just to be straight with you, okay? We have a severe thunderstorm, a dangerous thunderstorm producing a tornado at this time in Pontotoc County. As you see there, near Highway 1 and 3605, producing baseball hail and a tornado. In fact, the National Weather Service has just entered an update on this, now giving a severe thunderstorm warning downstream from this storm for baseball hail, which has been confirmed by the public. Northeastern Pontotoc, northeastern Cole County, till 8:15. A severe thunderstorm located southeast of Francis, 6 miles, moving northeast. Now, I'm sorry.
25 miles an hour, east at 25 miles.
East 25, correction on that. So the storm, again, has become more of a right mover. I'm going to go back to Doppler 12 in interpretive mode. Joe, if you go back over to Max 1, we can take a look at that and see this storm up close and where it's going. Here it is. Highway 1, you see it there again. Baseball hail reported in that area. Highway 1 and 3605, that's east of Ada and southwest of Allen. Another report of a funnel with that storm east of Ada. Tom, is there any update on this tornado warning from the National Weather Service? How much longer is that in effect? And any
The warning is until 8 o'clock for Pontotoc County, but at this time, you know, there is a report that the funnel they're watching, the one east of Ada, is now starting to lower. It has not touched the ground at this point, but that doesn't really matter. It's time, if you are in Stedman or Citra, or even if you are in JD, you need to be taking cover at this time as the storm is moving off to the northeast in your direction.
well, correction, a little more east now. I think they're saying 25.
Yeah,
right?
it's starting to become a right turn, and right there you can actually see below Stedman the couplet that is in that area. And so again, right there it's highlighted for you. And we are also scanning the storm on our Doppler 12, and we're not seeing any change in the actual reflectivity of the storm. Although we are starting to see a right turning movement off of this couplet, which would mean that the circulation that you're looking at is going to be moving a little more south of Stedman and a little more to the north of Citra as it gets ready to cross State Road 48. Steve?
Tom, I want to show the folks just the monster hail in this thing. Again, confirmation of baseball hail, so the hail is actually bigger than what our interpretive mode is picking up, right. And that's just an indication of how fast this thing has been strengthening. Again, and we've
Steve,
got the indication of a new tornado. I'm sorry,
right.
Tom, go ahead.
And that particular, there's a spotter out there also at the same time, so this may be the same thing that spotter is looking at to the northeast of Ada. where we have you centered here. This is a 48,000-foot top. So this is a very tall thunderstorm, and it's moving off, as I said, to the east, probably east-northeast. It's not moving all that fast at this time. Steve?
We're going to do a cross-section on this time to show folks what this thing looks like three-dimensionally. Again, it's a monster storm. It really, as we scan through the storm, you can see the hail there indicated by the purple. And this is a really big hail core on this, extending as high as 30,000 feet into the atmosphere, which the higher the hail goes, typically the bigger it gets. So we're getting reports of baseball hail. Again, 3 minutes ago, it was at Highway 1 and 3605 to the east of Ada and the southwest of Allen, not too far from Happyland, south of there. So with this kind of an indication, monster updraft, funnel cloud reported, and it had produced a tornado a little while ago on the south side of Ada. Then again, a tornado produced on the east side of Ada out toward Highway 3605 again. So this is really some kind of a dangerous storm, folks. Need to be in their place of safety on this storm right here. Now, down to the southwest, we cannot ignore these intense storms also coming into Love and Marshall. We've got reports of up to 2-inch hail possible in this storm approaching Marietta and just north of Windstar Casino in Thackerville, also damaging winds to 60 miles per hour. Now, no indication in this storm of a tornado at this time, thankfully, but it's a real dangerous storm. Also, this storm over Murray County, capable of producing some large hail. Again, possibly up to 2 inches. Winds could exceed 60 miles per hour, and we're getting a little notch right here. So we're not totally convinced there couldn't be a circulation forming southwest of Sulphur. Folks in Sulphur need to really keep a heads up. Here you see on Doppler 12 Live in storm scan mode that we have that very well-defined hook there just south of Steedman. And there's a secondary hook there just northeast of JD. So there's actually 2 circulations in this storm, both of them south of Allen there, and moving northeast to east in that general National Weather Service says east on the last scan, 25 miles an hour. It looks like it might be moving a bit more east-northeast, but either way, it's heading over into Cole County. We'll cross the county line here in about 10 minutes and may actually go north of there out of Cole County, but it's a dangerous storm, folks. We have a report also now coming in from that Murray County storm I just showed you. Tom, we have a golf ball hail 4 miles west of Davis with that other storm.
Yes, and in fact, golf ball size hail on that storm in Davis. And also I want to note in Cole County, you should already be taking cover because this very dangerous storm that's moving in your direction already has a history of potential baseball size hail from this storm. And so hail up to 2 inches moving in your direction. So whether it's a tornado or whether it's large hail, folks in Cole County, especially the western half of Cole County, should be taking cover at this time.
Tom, give me a movement on the Murray County storm. What do we have on that from the National Weather Service? What's the official movement on that?
Hang on, let me pull the Murray County storm up here real quick.
Reminder, folks in Pontotoc County, I haven't forgotten about you. We got several that are really dangerous storms out there. One of these is in Murray County, dropping golf ball hail now just west of Davis. So that's a monster. And here's our Pontotoc County storm with a continued tornado warning on it. We still see a notch here. The same general area here to the south, southeast of Happyland, and a new notch that has tried to form now over here near JD. So there's 2 potential tornadic circulations in this storm. And Doppler 12 Live in the storm scan mode. Let's go back to that, Joe. We can see it a little better here. And Tom, if you'd use an arrow to kind of point out those hooks for the folks at home. And again, in this area between Allen and JD, need to really remain in your place of safety until the storm passes. Folks in Ada are out of the woods on this. The storm is to your east, and this storm no longer poses a threat to you. However, storms back to your west in Murray County, which are producing damaging hail, could affect you a little bit later. Another report at 3670 and 1570 in Pontotoc County, that's east of Ada, of a tornado touchdown. That one is moving east. This is from Chad Letelier in Pontotoc County, and appreciate that report there. Again, a lot going on, folks. Tom Hale has circled the circulation centers for you on our Doppler 12 in storm scan mode. And right, copy that.
Right. This particular connection at County Road 3670 and 1570, Chad Letteller has been following this storm pretty consistent, and he's to the northeast of it, so that gives him an opportunity to be able to see it. The storm he's now reporting is moving east. It is now becoming a right turner. Steve.
Yeah, sorry about that, Chad. It's Lettler. I said his name wrong. But the big story is that we have dangerous weather over Pontotoc County. Tornado warning continues. This is a tornado east of Ada, south of Happyland, not too far south of Steedman, kind of in between these two locations here, between Leader and Steedman. It's out here in open country in a fairly sparsely populated area. That's certainly good news. But if you're in the path of it, we know that it is capable of producing damage, and we've got very large hail associated with the core. Okay, we're going to take a break from this for a second. Again, folks, remain in your place of safety here in Pontotoc County. We've got more developing weather down in the south end of our viewing area, and this is a tornado warning now for Denton County, which we know is not in Texoma, but the reason we're going to shift south for a minute is because folks in Grayson and Cook County could be affected by this really monster storm. As you see, I'm going to turn the lightning off so you can see just how intense this storm is. Meteorologist Tom Hale, can you give me some updates on the National Weather Service out of Fort Worth on this tornado warning?
Indicating a strong rotation and lowering northwest of the airport in Denton. The airport in Denton happens to be on the western side of 35, and it's Airport Road and 35 is where they're seeing this. The spotter happens to be 3 miles to the west of this, and again, they're showing a very strong rotation and lowering. They indicate a very nice wall cloud. Of course, that's a relative term. But in any case...
3 miles west of Denton, correct?
Yes, it is 3 miles west of Denton at this point.
Okay, the reason we're telling you about this storm, folks, is again, it could easily affect Grayson County. It's tracking, I think, a little bit more east-northeast, and that would put it into Gunner and Van Alstyne in the next hour. And this is a history of producing damaging hail as well. We're getting a live feed from one of our Chaser Network spotters on this storm, I believe, in Denton County. Let's take a look at that quickly. It's getting toward evening, but we still have good light for about another 30 minutes to spot this storm. And I believe we can get that live on the air. So this is a real monster storm in Denton County. We are watching it for folks in Grayson and possibly extreme southeastern Cook, but more likely Grayson and Fannin counties could be affected by this really severe storm. A severe thunderstorm warning has been posted for Cook County associated with the storm in the northern part of the county there. Also, folks in southern Cook need to be alert to the possibility of developing thunderstorms southwest of Gainesville. All of this stuff is coalescing into a dangerous cluster of thunderstorms. Let's go back to Pontotoc County. Again, in Murray County, we've got golf ball hail near Davis, right along I-35. Pontotoc County, tornado warning continues. Now, this storm just continues to show a well-defined notch here, and that's this Hook region right here. Let me stop this, and we'll go into our velocity mode, see what's in there. Still seeing a good couplet, folks. Good in the terms of well-defined, not in terms that it's good, okay? Just want to clarify that. Just a well-defined couplet, which indicates the velocity rotation right here, and that would be south of Steedman there, Tom, between Highway 1 and Highway 48. So that really hasn't changed any at all.
No, and this storm was moving relatively slow to begin with. At one point, it was running, Steve, at about 15 miles an hour, and then it started its right turner. So as it started to move more east, it's likely that the storm would slow down just a tiny bit. The thunderstorm or the tornado down in Denton County, they're indicating the storm is, the potential tornado is down near Justin, and that just happens to be a little bit south of Denton at this point.
Okay, well, the farther south that thing goes, the better we'll like it here
Exactly
in Texoma,
right.
Tom. But I think we're definitely facing some potential danger in Grayson County from that storm, and the timeline on that would be around 8:30. I'm going to shift back south for a moment. Again, folks in Pontotoc County, continue with the tornado warning for the area shown here in the eastern Pontotoc County, south of Steedman, and north of Leader. Out here along Highway 48 is where the indicated rotation center of that is. In fact, Joe, punch up Doppler 12 storm scan mode. Look at that hook. Folks, that is really a classic hook echo on the storm there in Pontotoc County, and I believe we can point that out a little better to the folks. There it is. That's the hook, and that's the danger center of this storm. It's very, very compelling now. We have little doubt that there's a hook.
That's about 7 miles, Steve, due south of Allen.
7 miles south of Allen, folks.
7 miles south of Allen, and I believe that is on 48.
Highway 48, that's where it is. We've been tracking this thing. It's moving due east at 25 miles per hour. And it's going to be threatening Citra here very shortly as it moves to the east out of Pontotoc County and continues to produce really some very damaging weather. I think there's little doubt that a tornadic circulation is in there and probably on the ground. We haven't had any updates, but okay, an update just came in.
We're showing a barn that has been destroyed associated with this, and it's located just to the west of 3610 and County Road 1517. And Chad Lateller, the same person who's been reporting on this particular storm to the National Weather Service in Fort Worth, or in Norman, and it indicates that there's additional damage that he's found in the area. We'll get some reports on that. But if you happen to be just to the east of County Road 1520 or just to the north of County Road 1533 near 48, that is the area where this is moving through. It's approximately 7 miles to the south of Allen at this time. And so we've had power flashes, also a report of baseball-size hail north of Highway 1 near 3650. And so we're right now on Doppler 12 doing what we call a localized scan. In other words, we're just running the beam back and forth across this particular storm, which is just to the east of Steedman and south of Allen at this time. And you can see it extremely well defined. The scan is going through it right now, and you can see this very well defined hook echo here just to the south. It's getting ready to cross that little bend in the road. If you're familiar with the area heading south out of Allen, you come down to an area where the road takes a very sharp bend. It's just to the west of Citra.
That's right, Tom.
And
forgive me, but I wanted to give an update. The National Weather Service has just updated this. Of course, a tornado warning continues for eastern Pontotoc County until 8 o'clock with...
And Steve, they're going to be issuing a tornado warning for southern Love County. That storm near Thackerville that we have been watching appears now to be tornadic.
Okay, recenter, leave Doppler 12 storm scan over there on that one. I'll shift to this one here in Love County quickly. And again, read that statement out as I get over to that storm in Love County, Tom.
Not a problem. There's a tornado warning that's going to be coming out, and that is going to be for Love County near Thackerville. Okay, there's an indication now that we have rotation, and I can't tell you whether it's just Weather Service radar indicated or not, but down near Thackerville, Love County, southern part of the county, a tornado warning is going to be issued for this particular storm that we've been watching, which is just across the county line from Callisburg. So if you are, south of the Red River, this storm is moving away from you at this time. But if you are in Love County, you should be taking cover now.
Okay, give us an exact location of where they think the rotation is strongest, Tom.
Hang on, Steve. It just came up from the Weather Service. Moving to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. And they're giving a location simply saying near Thackerville at this time.
Gotcha.
And it's a radar indicated rotation associated with this.
Okay, we've posted it on the screen for folks. Let you digest it for a minute. This is not as well defined as the storm in Pontotoc County, and we continue a tornado warning for eastern Pontotoc County until 8 o'clock, but still, it does indicate some rotation here. Let's scan that. Well, there you can see it right near Thackerville. We have a red-green couplet. Again, those two colors close together indicate rotating. What Doppler is showing you is the air moving away from the radar and toward the radar in close proximity, so we have a rotation there, circulation. Okay, this tornado warning is for Love and Marshall. It's going to be moving into Marshall County. So I want to clarify that. It is tornado warning for Love and Marshall County. And the velocity on this is much lower than the Pontotoc storm, but a small tornado is possible in this storm. Also, Tom, the storm has been strengthening. So, again, a dangerous situation. This storm is tracking, I believe you said, northeast 45. Is that correct?
Yes, it's actually moving pretty quick compared to the other storms that we've been watching to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. So that would bring that storm primarily in the direction of Kingston and the northwest. Of course, being a radar, of course, this again is a radar indicated, but we're indicating that this storm is located. Let me get the mile marker coordinates one more time on it. Between mile markers 2 and 10, okay? So literally on 35, what you're talking about is the first 10 miles of 35. So if you're heading north into Oklahoma, or if you have folks heading that direction, or if you're heading south, I recommend that you just simply go the other direction.
Tom, that would be very close to WinStar Casino from there north to just a few miles south of Marietta.
Well,
there.
2 mile is the WinStar, 2 mile marker is around the WinStar Casino exit.
Correct. So that, again, really a serious situation there, and I hope folks there have taken shelter in that area because dangerous storm. Tornado warning for Eastern Love, Marshall County. And what's the time on that one, sir?
The time on that is till 8:15.
Let's go back to Doppler 12 in storm scan mode, Joe. We definitely have still a compelling hook on there. It is now, looks like it's right over or just east of Highway 48. Preparing to leave Pontotoc County very quickly here and move to the east, but still a dangerous storm, and all of our folks downstream from that need to watch. Now, Ada, here comes the second band of storms. I want to call your attention to these. These are no slouches. They've got some big hail in them. Golf ball hail was reported out of these storms near Davis a short time ago. Any storm you see here with that kind of an updraft, today at least, with the wind shear being what it is, has potential to become tornadic. So, Ada, you're out of the woods on storm 1. It's well to your east. Storm number 2 coming in. No indication of a tornado right now, but it has the potential to produce damaging winds, big hail, and possibly could strengthen to produce a tornado. We don't know that for sure, but based on the way these storms are going over the last couple of hours, we know there's plenty of wind shear out there, and these storms are spinning. So it's just a matter if they'll spin fast enough to drop that updraft to the ground, which is what a tornado is. So in eastern Pontotoc, though, Highway 48 looks like the storm has just crossed. Let's take a look at the velocity on here.
And Steve, this particular storm that's moving its way through Pontotoc, one of the chasers now reports 7 miles to the southeast of Francis. Southeast of Francis, we're looking at hail the size of 3 1/4 inch size hail being reported by a chaser that's out there. And that is 7 miles to the southeast of Francis, and that's in Pontotoc County. So we've got not just a tornado, we've also got some serious hail. Again, a reason for you to stay inside. Also, we're getting a report of golf ball size hail in Vanos by the fire department. They're reporting at the intersection of 3430 and 1550, okay, in Vanos, that they're seeing right now golf ball size hail.
Let's go over there and look at that quickly, Tom, and thank you for that report. Folks, a lot of information flooding in. We are trying to cover all the storms as best we can, so be patient with us if you want us to put your storm on the screen. We're going through a rotation here, but currently the only tornado-warned storms are in eastern Love and Marshall and also Pontotoc. Let's head back down to the one in eastern Love and Marshall. Again, this is based on radar reports. No confirmation on this big blob of storms you see here producing a tornado, but we do have a rotation. We just showed you a moment ago. Let's do that again.
Steve, let me interrupt you for 1 second. Weather Service has just issued out of Fort Worth a tornado warning for Cook County and also for northwestern Grayson County. At 7:45, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Thackerville, and so they are indicating that this storm most likely will become a right turner and move a little more to the east. Right now, they're indicating it's now 8 miles to the southeast of Marietta, and it's moving off to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. But the Fort Worth Weather Service did issue a tornado warning for the northeastern portion of Cook and the northwestern portion of Grayson County, and this is going to be in effect until 8:15. So if you are in that corner where Grayson and Cook County comes together, at this time, you need to be taking cover. You need to be going into your safe place at this point.
Okay, here we are.
There's a tornado warning in effect for Cook and Grayson counties, right where the two of them meet up, right along the Red River again, and the storm is moving off to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. It's about 8 miles to the southeast right now, the center of that storm, southeast of Marietta.
Yeah, we're not picking up anything on the velocity scale, Tom. That is right along the Red River, essentially. Let me show you, folks, where that would be. 8 miles southeast of Marietta. Well, let's just measure it. Here we go. 8 miles is right about along the Red River. So it looks like the area north of Callisburg on up toward Gordonville would be the danger zone there, right along this little piece of those two counties where they stick up. And let me show you that quickly. Right in here, folks, tornado warning for northeast Cook, northwest Grayson. Folks in Whitesboro, this doesn't affect you. Folks in Pottsboro, looks like this would not be an issue for you. It's going to track across the extreme northern part of Grayson, Cook, or southern Marshall and Love, where we also have a tornado warning, as it is right there on the border between those four counties. We are watching, though, a very dangerous storm farther south in Denton County. Now, I think, Tom, this storm is just really incredibly huge down here south of Denton. Now, this core maybe far enough south to stay out of Texoma. The part we've been watching in northern Denton seems to have weakened some, so that is really some good news there. Right now, we don't see any indication that this storm is producing a tornado in the northern part of Denton County, which is where we'd be concerned for folks. And places like Gunner and Van Alstyne, if you're watching from there, you got a strong storm headed your way, may produce some damaging wind or hail, but the core of this storm is in southern Denton County.
Right. It's 7 miles to the west of Denton at this point, and it's moving off to the northeast 25 miles an hour. And this is another radar-indicated storm. And in the Dallas area, they have something called CASA radars, which are smaller radars, and they're spread out around the Dallas Metroplex. And it's the CASA radar that's actually picking up this storm. So for south in Denton County, it's the southwestern portion of Denton County that the tornado warning remains in effect until 8 o'clock.
What do we have for, pardon me, Tom, what do we have for a speed on that core down there? Because I'm going to track it. I think it still
25 miles an hour to the north, moving to the northeast.
They're saying northeast. It looks a little more east-northeast to me, but I'll go with what they're saying, and let's put a track on that. I think that would still be a threat to southern Grayson. Look here, we're looking at this storm, which is moving much slower, to possibly make it into southern Grayson, Van Alstyne, Whitewright in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So, folks, this is probably the most dangerous storm on the map right now, but it's not in our viewing area yet. We do have a tornado warning for a weaker storm that is crossing northwestern Grayson, northeastern Cook. That tornado warning is for a storm is located basically right over the Red River and could go into either one of those 4 counties, Love, Marshall, Cook, or Grayson.
It appears, Steve, that it's going to come across to the west 377 and move up to Oklahoma State Road 32. Which is literally right along the northern side of the lake and to the east of Marietta if it continues in the direction it's going now.
We do have a report of a wall cloud over Denton, so that storm is shifting, as you said, to the northeast, and we are definitely not out of the woods on this storm. Mobile home was reported damaged near just southeast of Ada and also Eloso Y, southeast of Ada.
We could actually go to that. We could actually go to that Denton storm. I believe we have Storm Warrior TV on it with a view.
Yeah, this is the storm near Denton. Folks, it's a monster, and it's going to be something we have to put up with, I think, as we get into the evening, possibly for Grayson and Fannin counties. It has the most intense core I've seen today, and it's dumping some huge hail, a lot of heavy rain. We have no further update on the Pontotoc County tornado. We know some damage was produced, and no reports of any casualties with that, any injuries or fatalities, but report of some damage there, including a mobile home that was damaged southeast side of Ada. I just hope that no one was in that mobile home, or that if they were, they came out okay on that. Again, mobile homes being the most dangerous places to be when there are tornadoes. We've got another storm coming toward Ada here on Doppler 12 Live in interpretive mode. Big storm coming into the west side of Ada. Probably has some hail in it. Let's take a look. Okay, the hail scope is showing not particularly huge hail, but walnut size, maybe a little optimistic on there. These things are estimates, not always guaranteed. And look at this, more hail coming in now to Murray County from Wynnewood back to just north of Sulphur. Tom, some of this stuff is pretty big, looking at golf balls here between Sulphur and Wynnewood. Now, why do you care about this? Because it is moving into Pontotoc County once again. Folks watching from Ada westward to Stratford may be in for some more hail, and any one of these storms does have the potential to produce a tornadic circulation. Tom, do we have anything new on the eastern Pontotoc storm? In fact, Joe, let's go back. Tom, let's zoom in on that storm on the storm scan mode of the eastern Pontotoc storm. I think we still have a good hook on that one, and going to wait a second until we get that going there. And while we're waiting for that, we will show you once again we have a tornado warning for this storm along the Red River, looking at southern Marshall, eastern Love County. It doesn't have the classic hook like some of the other storms, but right here along the Red River we do have a strong core that is tracking to the east and northeast and may have a tornadic circulation in it. We're talking about right in here. So far northeastern Cook, far northwestern Grayson, not Sherman, not Whitesboro, not Gainesville, north of Callisburg, back over toward Gordonville, got a danger zone there. Now, folks, I want to remind you that even when we don't have tornadoes in these storms, there are possible tornadoes like this one here, we have damaging wind and hail often accompanying the storm due to the RFD, the rear flank downdraft. Also, the hail core can produce a lot of damage even without a tornado. So when a circulation is indicated on radar and a tornado is never produced, doesn't mean we're crying wolf. It means there's a dangerous rotating updraft that can produce a tornado, and even without a tornado, we can get damaging wind and hail. And this storm is tracking, Tom, give me the motion on this storm over Red River there. What's the motion on that one?
The motion on the storm was to the northeast, and it was moving relatively fast at about 35 miles an hour.
Okay,
and so that would put it south of Medill and north of Kingston if it continues the motion it's going at.
Okay, officially northeast of 35. And again, these storms can redevelop. They can wobble a little bit. And we're seeing a squall line trying to develop here. I want to zoom out quickly, and then we're going to go back to our storm scan mode of Doppler 12. Here's what we have, folks. We've got a big bunch of storms forming into a squall line. The most intense storm currently is located over the city of Denton. This may affect Grayson or Fannin counties. Could be a real hail maker, possible tornado in that one. Now let's go back to Doppler 12. Pontotoc County storm. We're told seconds ago that the tornado warning has been scrubbed. It's been discontinued for Pontotoc County, so that's some good news there, Tom. We're not out of the woods yet, though.
No, because it's still producing a good deal of large hail, and it is moving in the direction of Cole County. And so that's the concern if you're in Cole County, that this storm will be moving in your direction.
Okay, I don't want to forget about our friends along I-35 here. Two areas of concern. Murray County, that storm now moving into Garvin and Pontotoc with possibly half-dollar hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. These storms have all had a history of delivering what they're suspected of, which is large hail, anywhere from half-dollar to baseball size from different storms today. They've also produced some damaging winds. We've had at least one tornado that we know happened east of Ada, southeast of Ada. It started off near the Pontotoc Technology Center and a track northeast. We know that at least one mobile home was damaged on the southeast side of Ada. There's been some other damage. I believe a barn was destroyed also to the east of Ada as well. We had baseball hail at Highway 1 and 3605. That was about a half hour ago. All of those being caused by this storm, now leaving our viewing area and tracking through Gertie to the north of our effective viewing area. And
we had hail in that particular storm reported by a chaser over 3 inches, also 7 miles to the southeast of Francis.
Yes, that was a little while ago, and some monster hail. Has probably been some significant hail damage with that. Here we have a tornado warning on this storm. Not a classic structure for a tornado, but there's some radar rotation in here. It's becoming less distinct. I really can't find a center on this one. Tom, why don't you recenter Doppler 12 and storm scan mode over the Cook-Grayson storm, see if we can find any kind of a hook in there. It's a dangerous storm, though, folks. We know there's probably some winds to about 60 in it minimum. Naturally, if there's a tornado that is associated with the storm, it would have higher winds and hail possibly to about golf ball size in this storm. But again, there's been no reports of any funnel clouds or tornadoes with this storm, and it looks like the core of the storm would be located along the Red River. And I'm going to point it out to you right in here. So it's ill-defined but still dangerous storm. And heading south, we have this monster, scary storm down in Denton County, and big hail core with that one. Let's see what we have inside that storm. And I believe we have some of our Chaser Network spotters down there. If we do, after I do this scan, let's pull that up, take a look at the velocity in that. Pretty good rotational couplet there with the green and the red. This is a rotating updraft. No indication of a tornado in it right now. Tom, is that correct, or am I off on that? What do we have in that Denton County storm?
On the Denton County storm, at the moment we don't have a. At the moment we had reports of it touching down near Justin.
Okay, correction on that. Then we did have a tornado out of that some time ago. All
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, and this is live video from Denton County of that storm, which we're getting indications now of Doppler 12 in interpretive mode of grapefruit-sized hail in this thing. Just unbelievably big hail. That's about as big as you ever get, unless you're going for a world record, and that's just huge. Shows you how strong the updraft is. We're not seeing anything definitive right there on this particular feed, but the storm is producing a lot of outflow, so it's making it tough to see. It may be becoming rain wrap, Tom, in that case.
The Denton County storm in Argyle, which is also just near Justin, actually had baseball-sized hail taking out windows on homes.
Oh, my. Okay, and let's go back to our MAX unit here, Joe, and we can put that storm in motion. Again, it looks like it's going to track right over Lake Louisville, come up through Frisco, and it's tracking an east-northeast to /northeasterly fashion, which would put Grayson and Fannin counties in jeopardy. Cook County, this storm will not affect you. The core that we're watching here will definitely miss Cook County. We have that tornado warning continuing for far northeast Cook, but no indication, no strong indication of a tornado in it. It does have some potential to produce a tornado, but more likely, I say, to produce damaging straight-line winds or hail. And you can see how we're starting to get a squall line development.
And they've allowed the tornado warning for Denton County to expire. So we're starting to see the transition between tornadic rotation into just very large downdraft straight-line winds and the potential of large hail, Steve.
Right, the squall line is forming. You can see now we have a broken line of thunderstorms, nearly solid, from north of Ada all the way down to just about Dallas. And this is what we thought would happen, the tornado threat being higher the first part of the day up till now. There's still a chance, I think, in the next hour or so, another tornado could form. We do have a warning out right now, in fact, for a possible tornado. Possible based on radar rotation, northeastern Cook and northwestern Grace. In fact, look at this. We do have a little bit better hook on the last scan of this storm. So let's take a look at the velocity now and see what's going on in here. We don't see anything conclusive in there, but we do have a little notch there. So again, there's some rotation indicated here in the reflectivity pattern, and this is indicative of a rotating updraft, folks. I want you to treat this, please, as a real tornado on the ground, although it has not been confirmed. This is heading in the general direction of Gordonville, then crossing
Now,
Lake Texoma toward
Steve, we have a
Kingston.
report from a spotter that's out just north of Dexter, okay, which is south of Kingston, southwest of Kingston in Cook County, and they're indicating that they're starting to see some increasing rotation just to the north of Dexter. And that, of course, that storm is moving into Grayson County at this time.
Okay, that is exactly where we're zoomed in now with this system. I'm going to mark it for you folks
There it
at
is.
home.
You can see it right there, just to the southwest of Dexter, that little hook right there, north of Sturgeon, and due west of Gordonville, and to the southwest of Dexter.
Yeah, so I marked that spot. This is why we have the tornado warning for northeastern Cook, far northeastern Cook, and far northwestern Grayson. Again, I want to emphasize, folks watching from southern and central Grayson, this storm is not a threat. Whitesboro, you're good. Sherman, Denison, not going to be affected by this storm unless it takes a sudden direction change, which we don't see any indication of that. In fact, if I back us up a little bit and we kind of roll through, you can see it's moving in a general east-northeasterly fashion, and it's doing so. Let's see what the latest speed on that was. I believe 35 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour. Tom, which is it? Help me out here.
Hang on for just 1 second. Let me pull it up here.
These storms change speed constantly, folks. So
yeah,
bear with us.
we're moving at 35 miles an hour to the northeast, so they haven't changed that in the last report, although it may be starting to slow down just a tiny bit.
Okay, let me put a storm tracker on that so we can see who's threatened by this storm downstream and when. So here's the core, folks, with a possible tornado. No confirmation of that. In fact, spotters at the scene do not report a tornado. Let's take it northeast. Here's some ETAs for you downstream. So it's over Dexter now. We're looking at it to be over Cedar Mills in about 10 minutes. Kingston, about a half hour for you. And I cannot stress enough, Tom, that even if a tornado does not form from this storm, it's capable of producing large hail. It's got a healthy updraft on it. Whenever you see a notch like that, it indicates a rotating updraft. The rotating updrafts produce very strong upward motion, and it can produce large hail. I believe we have Doppler 12 ready to close in on that in storm scan mode. So let's take that live now.
Steve, at this point, that storm moving up toward Dexter at this time, while we don't see a velocity couplet in here indicating that there is opposing winds and rotation, but what we do indicate here is this hook that you're taking a look at. And that's why the Weather Service is more than just erring on the side of caution. This indication here is that we could have a storm out there with a tornado in it. That's why it's radar indicated. And so if you are in Dexter or even Shea, Kingston, we'd said earlier that this particular storm was headed in the direction of Kingston, and it'll cross over pretty much 377, probably just a little bit to the north and the west of 377 on the Oklahoma side of the Red River. And as you can see, this storm is moving off. It'll be in Dexter in just minutes, and from there you'll be looking at Cedar Hill at 8:13. You'll be looking at Shea moving up at 8:25 in Oklahoma, and then we'll be looking at Kingston in what amounts to be about 32 minutes at this time, maintaining the speed of 35 miles an hour to the northeast.
Okay, this is the only tornado warning remaining in Texoma. We still, though, have some severe thunderstorms in progress.
We apparently have eyes on the wall cloud in Dexter, but nothing else at this time in Cook County.
Okay, a wall cloud, folks, indicates that we have a lowering caused by a strong updraft. As the updraft increases, the pressure drops underneath the base of the thunderstorm, and the cloud basically starts to work its way down to the ground. We had no report on whether that is rotating, but stand by a second. It's a dangerous storm. It's in the vicinity of Dexter, and even without further information than that, we know enough to tell you to, hey, take cover in the path of the storm. Again, extreme northwest Grayson, northeast Cook. that'll be crossing into southern Marshall County as it comes up on the Red River there. And let's zoom in on that once again. This is the only tornado warning we have left. And the only actual tornado reported producing any damage has been in Pontotoc County, where it looks like there's been a considerable amount of damage, Tom, south side of Ada on to the east out into the countryside. We're just getting information in, folks. It kind of trickles in after an event like this. It's always the way it is. And then daylight tomorrow, we'll know better about exactly what happened over there. But that threat for Pontotoc County has moved out of the county. The tornado warning for Pontotoc County has been allowed to expire. So the tornado warning that remains is for northeast Cook, northwest Grayson, and on into southern Marshall County for this storm that is virtually over Lake Texoma now, just southwest around Dexter. Do we have any update on the tornado warning when it'll expire, Tom, for these counties?
At this point, the tornado warning for Grayson County is going to expire in what amounts to be 10 minutes. It will be at 8:15, and that's it for Cook. All of them are expiring at the exact same time. Now, for what it's worth, down to the south in Denton County, one of the storm chasers we've been showing you video from, Mike Prendergast, that particular storm down there is now showing some more rotation near the Double Oak area, but the fortunate part for us is that that storm does not appear to be headed in the direction of Grayson County. It will probably skirt just to the south and through the northern part of Collin County at this time.
I get you. So that's good news there. We can't write that storm off, though. That one in Denton County is really a monster.
Well, and we've got a chaser on that particular storm who is reporting some evident rotation on the backside of the storm near Double Oak, which is in Denton County.
Here I've zoomed in on that storm, Tom, to show the folks at home just how intense it is. It's right over Lake Louisville now. There have been reports of funnel clouds as far north as Denton. And as you can see on this storm, a bow echo is forming here. Beginning to see evidence of a bow echo, which would indicate a damaging wind event evolving, not necessarily tornadic, but very high straight line winds. In a storm like this, I would say easily 70 to 80 miles per hour possible. And this could affect parts of Grayson or Fannin County. We may get lucky and it may just stay south of us. It's going to be a close call there. More storms are forming back to the southwest, and these are all moving generally to the northeast. So this cluster of thunderstorms coming down to Cook County. Pretty strong storms. Could contain some hail to about nickel size, winds to about 50 miles per hour, and they're tending to strengthen. So I think we'll have some severe warnings on those shortly. We're updating our storm scan mode on Doppler 12. Joe, let's go ahead and take that as we have just completed a fresh scan for the Grayson and Cook County storms. Not seeing a compelling hook there so much, but definitely a possibility there could still be a small tornado in there. If you look southeast of Marietta there, right along the Red River, which would be consistent with our other notch we saw near Dexter, there's a little hook there right over Lake Texoma. You can see it there.
And Steve, the National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunder or tornado warning, which is going to be in effect until 8:15. Let's see here. Maybe they are canceling it.
Folks, stand by. We're getting some new information. Just give us a sec, please. Apologize for that. Sometimes we just need to read it. And
No, they're indicating it remains in effect. They just reissued on this tornado warning, indicating that the thunderstorm is still capable of producing a tornado, and it is located at 5 miles to the north of Willis, moving to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. So they're increasing the speed on this storm and indicating golf ball size hail is also potential with this storm, as radar indicated. And so this particular storm is now pretty much due north of Dexter and just south of the Red River and due west of Willis at this time, and it's moving off to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. So they're extending this warning at least until 8:15, and they may extend it further for Love and southeastern Marshall counties.
Okay, to clarify though, 5 miles north of Willis is where the action center is on this now. Is that correct, Tom?
Actually, it's approximately 5 miles to the west of Willis and southwest of Powell.
Okay, so that puts it again virtually on the Red River. Let's measure that out for you. Right here, just in extreme northeastern Cook County, would be the circulation center. So let's mark that for you. And this would be the most dangerous part of the storm. This makes sense because the storm hasn't moving northeast and about 45 miles per hour. It doesn't take long to get from Dexter to where it is. So just to the west of Willis there, and we'll get rid of that for you. There's the circulation center. Again, not real compelling compared to a lot of the storms we get, but it's still possible a tornado could be in there. Let's see what the velocity scan shows. Now, there's a very weak couplet there, not looking real compelling again, but as we erase these guys and do a little interpretive on it, we can see there's a little bit of shear there. Again, pretty low. If anything, I would say this is producing a possible funnel cloud, but we do have a tornado warning for it. We're not going to dismiss it. Again, it's not looking to be a real strong tornado. If anything, it would be a weak tornado, but it could still produce some damaging wind, Tom, and hail. So certainly a mean storm, one that bears our respect.
In fact, Steve, on the leading edge of that storm, as it gets ready to move into Powell, you're going to see some very strong gusty winds of at least 35 to 40 miles an hour, if not more. Using something called the spectral mode, it gives us an idea of the turbulence that's associated with the storm. So between Willis and Shea and Powell, along 377, there are some very strong winds coming out of the leading edge of that storm. And there is also an area that has some strong winds just to the back side of that, where we saw that tiny little circulation. Let me take it back off and take it to the velocity mode. And you can notice right in here that you have a few little tiny places where there is some rotation in here that a radar indicated, but at the moment we don't have anything other than radar indicated potential tornadic activity. And the Weather Service is going to be looking at this very carefully over the next 10 or 15 minutes, because they're going to have to decide whether they want to extend this warning.
Forgive me, Tom, forgive me for interrupting, but we just got a report from the National Weather Service of a rotating wall cloud over the Red River in Grayson County, and that is a fresh report from the spotter. So that's pretty consistent with this information that we've been sharing with the folks, that it's right in here between Powell and Willis over Lake Texoma / the Red River. Now northeast of Dexter, looks like it's northwest of Cedar Mills. Let me recenter the map for you. We'll put it in motion. And there you can see a kind of a vague hook inside this reflectivity pattern here, where the dark colors indicating higher precip rates are wrapping a little bit, and that's where we do now have a report of a rotating wall cloud. It's not on the ground, but a rotating updraft is what produces tornadoes. So this is why a tornado warning is being allowed to continue. Now this warning will expire at 8:15, 5 more minutes. I do not know whether or not they will reissue the warning. We'll have to just wait and see, Tom, how the storm trends over the next several minutes.
Okay, they are turning on the sirens in Kingston. Now, if you have not already taken cover, and we've been telling you in Kingston that this is something you should be doing, you now should be taking cover. Go to your safe place. And remember, if you are wondering where that safe place is in your home, it is putting the most number of walls, exterior walls, between you and the storm. So you want to be in the center of the house. If you're on a second floor, you need to be friends with your friends in the first floor if you happen to be in an apartment. But get down and find yourself a center room. If you don't have a center room, find the center hallway, and don't be shy about rearranging the furniture. Grab a sofa, pull it over you and your family. If you have bicycle helmets and that kind of stuff, baseball helmets, you name it, batting helmets, those are always good as well to protect yourself in this kind of situation. In Kingston, the sirens are going off, and you need to be taking cover at this time, as the storm is moving in that direction at this time. And we do have a rotating wall cloud, so the potential of spinning up a tornado at any time will be there. Now, the Weather Service is indicating they are going to extend the tornado warning along the Red River in Grayson County for this particular storm. They have not issued the warning yet, but they'll be issuing it shortly. And so, again, if you are in the northern part of Grayson County, if you're north of Pottsboro, but you're up along the lake, and you are also in the southern part of Marshall, and most likely they may extend it into Bryan County shortly, you're going to be wanting to take a look at that. And so at this point, you need to be in your safe place. If you are right along the Red River on either side, south of 70 and north of Pottsboro, the storm is getting ready to cross over, and probably has actually crossed over 377 now. And it's on that little finger of the lake that sticks up to the north along the Red River.
Well, we're going to recenter Doppler 12 in storm scan mode, Tom, if you can.
Let me see if I can.
And let's, if we can do that, we'll give a fresh update on that. This storm has been a bit confusing. Bear with us on this. I think it's actually had 2 circulation centers. No reports of either one of them producing a tornado, but spotters do report a wall cloud basically right along the Red River in extreme northwestern Grayson County. And it's moving to the northeast, or saying at 45, but it really looks like more of an easterly motion on this circulation center. Spotter in Dexter has eyes on a cell near Delaware Bend. Wall cloud, but no rotation. So it may be that this storm is cycling as it continues to be, and I'm going to circle the general area of concern here. It's right up in here. Within this zone, we have rotating thunderstorm producing a wall cloud. It's intermittently a rotating wall cloud. No touchdowns confirmed. A tornado warning will be extended for far northern Grayson County due to this rotating thunderstorm in the area. But again, Tom.
Steve, you might want to, let's go to Doppler 12 for a second. We've got our scan on this storm, and you can see that to the southeast of Powell and to the west, due west of Shea, on the Oklahoma side, pretty much due north, probably what amounts to be, I'm going to say 5 miles, somewhere to that range, due north of Willis. If I were to pull the measuring stick out here, we can go take a look at it. Yeah, it's actually even less than that. It's about 3 miles to the north of Willis. It is about 3 miles or 2 miles to the west of Shea, and you can see a hook right there. And again, this storm has been moving off to the north and east, so if it continues a more northeasterly move, it will be a little bit above Kingston. And so now at this point, they are going and issuing a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning for, well, it doesn't look like they've extended it in here. Let me take a look here in the...
Tom, stand by. If you forgive me. They're replacing the Love Marshall County tornado warning. They're downgrading that to a severe thunderstorm warning. I say downgrading. It doesn't mean it's not a dangerous storm, but the rotation in there that would have prompted the tornado warning earlier has broken up. So we're not seeing that on the Love Marshall County storm anymore. However, we have a brand new warning that just came out, severe thunderstorm warning for Bryan and Marshall County. That's going to be for the same storm we're monitoring here along the Red River. It's moving in the direction of Bryan and Marshall County. It's already over Marshall County. Again, sirens are going off in Kingston due to this tornado warning that has now been discontinued. But I would still urge folks to go ahead and just stay in your place of safety in the path of this storm, as it has produced intermittent rotations and at least one rotating wall cloud as it tracks through Marshall and Bryan County. Here's the parameters on that. 1.5 inch hail, that's a $0.5 hail, and 60-mile-per-hour winds possible. So no slouch. It's a dangerous storm. And what we're seeing happen here, Tom, is these are beginning to form a solid line of thunderstorms. So Sherman Denison is next for getting some rough storms. You can see here, to zoom out a little bit, what's going on. Now, the most intense storm currently seems to be this one here, which, again, does have a tornado warning on it for far northern Grayson. And it looks like that system may be allowed to expire at 8:15. We're not sure yet from the Fort Worth National
I believe it has now
Resource.
just expired.
Okay, so...
And it's been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, until 9 o'clock for Grayson and Cook. But we are still seeing here on our radar, and we're doing what we call basically a sector scan, which is back and forth here. This particular storm has seen a wall cloud. It's west of Shea. In either case, we're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning until 9 o'clock for Grayson and Cook County, and we also have a severe thunderstorm warning until 9 o'clock also for Bryan and Marshall. The storm's moving to the east at 25 miles an hour.
Okay.
At this point, we don't have any tornado warnings in effect within the entire Texoma area, but they are now transitioning to storms that are possible of producing large hail, 1.5 inch size hail, and we have warnings in effect for Grayson, Cook, Bryan, and Marshall County for this storm that's been primarily moving east-northeast along the Red River until 9 o'clock tonight. Steve?
Okay, Tom, we're going to go through a quick radar tour, after which we'll wrap up our continuous coverage, but of course we'll be breaking in frequently through the rest of the evening as the tornado threat seems to be diminishing. There still is a tornado watch in effect 11 o'clock, but all the tornado warnings we've had over the last couple of hours have now expired. The storms have transitioned from rotating updrafts into more of a straight line storm. So starting in southern Grayson County, very strong thunderstorm over Gunner and also Van Alstyne. This is a storm that may produce some damaging wind or hail. Moving north now along the line, the warning for tornadoes has been discontinued in Grayson County, Marshall, Love, and Cook, but it's still a dangerous storm. A severe thunderstorm warning is now in effect for this storm for Marshall and Bryan County, and also for Grayson County as it tracks to the east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Let's do a storm scan on this so I can give you some ETAs downstream on who's affected by this storm. And again, it's a pretty big one coming through about like so. So here's some ETAs for you on this storm, and Durant going to be headed your way in about a half hour. Denison also going to be seeing this storm fairly soon. Now, there's a weaker storm forming over Denison right now. The main storm elements are a little farther west, heading farther north again into southern Oklahoma. We see the storms around Ada have weakened and pushed off to the north. Great news there. Pretty heavy storm over Johnston County on top of Tishomingo. Here's the big picture, and again, we're seeing the threat for tornadoes, at least temporarily, diminishing. I think we'll see more and more of a squall line taking shape with damaging wind and possibly some large hail. So we're again wrapping up our coverage right now. Be sure and monitor our Facebook feeds for Facebook Live cut-ins, and we'll break back in as necessary right here on News 12. Thank you for staying with us, and stay safe.